Well, we got what we asked for. Eagles Commanders game number 3 with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line. And the Eagles do have a huge concern coming into this game, but it's not the one everyone has been chatting about. Meanwhile, they also have an even bigger advantage, which is why the discourse about this offense is way out of control. We'll talk about all that, get some updates from Nick Sirianni, and hear from coordinators Kellen and Vic Fangio about some things this upcoming weekend. But we'll get into it all. Welcome into A to Z Philly. I'm RB. Do me a huge favor, man. Like this video if you enjoy the coverage, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. We are almost at 10K subs. Appreciate all of you so much. I have a lot I want to say in this video, so I don't know where to start, but I guess we'll go here, man. Eagles hosting the Commanders on Sunday at the Linc. Title game runs through Philly, and according to TickPick, it is the most expensive title game ever. The average purchase price right now is $1,310 with the get-in price, the cheapest ticket available at $620. I-95 battle to go to the Super Bowl. This is going to be one of those matchups you dream up. Eagles, Commanders, I can't even believe it. Like, kind of think about it a few times and say, are the Eagles really playing the Washington Commanders to go to the Super Bowl? It's insane, but honestly, it's what we dreamt up. This is the path that we wanted. The stars have aligned. And now the Eagles get to punch their ticket, hopefully, in front of the best fans in the world. So we'll talk about that. But let's start it off with the injury situation, okay? Jason Dumas put this out a little while ago. Now, I'm not the biggest Jason Dumas guy, but he says sources tell him that Quinyon and Jalen will both be able to play on Sunday. I've heard a lot of things in these past couple of days. They're saying Quinyon might have an AC joint sprain or whatever. And, pretty much it's going to be an injury that he can play through. It always gives, severe pain, but it is something you can muscle through. So that's good to hear. And in terms of Jalen Hurts, all we've heard is that he's going to be able to play. Jason Dumas says, I know Nick Sirianni said this on the radio today, and Quinyon told this to a reporter post-game, but he is pushing it forward. And here is the real indicator for me. Good sign for Jalen Hurts' knee and availability. The Eagles have scheduled a press conference tomorrow later in the afternoon for Jalen Hurts. Now, the Eagles will go through a walkthrough tomorrow, and then they'll have practice Thursday and Friday. So that's their schedule for the week. But Nick Sirianni said on the radio today, they are preparing for Jalen to be the quarterback, and they have a press conference tomorrow, which is a great sign. Meanwhile, on the betting lines, the Eagles have moved to a 6-point favorite, which does show signs that they're going to be able to play. That's a great thing. Here's the one concern, not how Jalen throws the ball, not what the offense is dialing up, and not how many pass attempts he has in a game. The concern for me is the mobility, right? When you think about Jalen Hurts and you think about this offense, sure, could he throw it more? Yeah. Does he need to? No. We'll get to that in a second. The main thing, though, is his dynamic ability, his threat of being a runner, what he did last game to run for a 44-yard touchdown. Those things really help the Eagles offense flourish. They help the Eagles offense be what it is, right? And everybody's always focused on Saquon and hyper-focused on the O-line and this and that and the receivers. They don't want to give Jalen credit, sure, but his threat as a runner completely changes the game plan. It gives a whole other element that the defense needs to plan for. They always need to keep a spy, things like that. So I think if Jalen is limited mobility-wise, then that does throw a huge wrench in what the Eagles are going to try to do, right? And whether they, deceive that to the other team or not, that's a whole different story. But if the Commanders pick up early that he can't move, and he looks like he did last week where, he's taking a safety, he can't really roll out, things like that, then I do think that could be a huge concern and really hurt the Eagles offense. But that remains to be seen. That is the real concern, whether Jalen is going to be healthy enough to be Jalen, pretty much. So that's where I'm at. But on the other side, I'm getting really tired of hearing the things I'm hearing these past couple of days already about the Eagles, because, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, again, is trying to go down the route that they went down the Eagles and Steelers week of, we have to throw, we have to do this. They keep saying, can Jalen beat this team when we get there? Is he going to be able to throw? Is he going to be able to do this? Let me just make a couple quick points, all right? I keep calling the Eagles offense resilient because every time, every game, they need a big game-winning drive in the late third quarter, early fourth quarter. They make it every time. So although Jalen has not been perfect, and maybe he hasn't even been good in these playoff games, he does what it takes to win. That's what his record shows. He continues to win. And even on top of that, now that they're not playing the Detroit Lions, who, by the way, have a decimated defense or had a decimated defense, it still doesn't matter because this team's identity is ground and pound. It's what they've done all year since the bye week. It's what we were calling for in week 1, and it is perfectly okay. Don't let the notions and the appearance of, oh, this is the modern day NFL, we have to throw, we have to be flashy, fool you, right? In the offseason, they said the running back position was essentially extinct. And now Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, guys like that put on record type of years, and the Eagles are one game away from the Super Bowl by just using the ground and pound, utilizing the running game and defending as well. That's who they are. So Jalen is managing the game. Yes, he is. And he's doing that very effectively by not turning the ball over. So some more context on that here. Anthony DeBona has the same sentiments as I do. And he says Washington has the 30th ranked run defense, allowing 138.9 rushing yards per game. Commanders allowed the Lions to run for 201 and average 8.1 yards per carry. Meanwhile, the Eagles have the second best rushing offense, averaging 184.3 yards per game. So everybody that I'm hearing so far that's coming into this game saying we're concerned, we're scared. Look, Jaden Daniels is an amazing player. He has an amazing story, but the gig is out, all right? The Eagles are going to be able to run it down this team's throat, and I'm not scared. I'm not worried. If you are scared, go get a puppy or something because the Eagles beat them once. The second time, they almost beat them with Kenny Pickett, and I know the Commanders are hot. I know they're playing with house money. They have momentum. I get it. They're a Cinderella team. I don't think they have what it takes as a collective unit to make it to the big game. And I just think the Eagles are the better team. So they have the formula. They know what works. We say this every week. And the Eagles go in there and everybody says, well, what happens when they stop Saquon? Well, who's stopping them? Nobody stops them. Do we not get that? It's a match made in heaven. It's Saquon and the biggest boys in the league up front. He's not getting stopped until I see it. Eagles had 285 rushing yards against the Rams, 169 against the Packers. I'm not concerned about this matchup. Yes, I know the Commanders can light it up, but you know what they did? They put up 45 points against the Detroit Lions defense that had 18 players on IR. Nobody wants to talk about that. Do you think the Eagles are going to give them enough possessions to score 45 points? No. Saquon is going to control the game. The Eagles are going to control time of possession. And they have the formula. It's no longer figuring out how to win. They know what they need to do and how to win. So honestly, I'm not concerned. First matchup, Saquon had 146 with 2 touchdowns on the ground. Second matchup, he had 150 with 2 touchdowns. He's just going to do the same thing again. I don't know how people are looking past this. Now they're trying to make the narrative, oh, the Eagles can't pass to win. Who cares as long as they win games? So that's where I'm at. And I just think people are looking at this wrong. I'm really not that fearful of the Commanders. This is an amazing picture, by the way. Last game, this is how open Saquon is right now. 76 yards away from the end zone, Jalen already put his hand up signaling touchdown. This Eagles team knows how to dominate, and it's this right here. I don't care how many times Jalen throws. When he needs to go on a game-winning drive, he's got to do it. He's got to go put out that drive, but he does it every time, and this is how the Eagles dictate games. Now, Kellen Moore talked about that safety Jalen Hurts took. He said, that was on me. I love the accountability. Like I said a couple days ago, play calling has to be better as well. They're going to have to get Jalen in rhythm early, a lot of short concepts, short routes, just to make sure he can go on that knee and he can move. I don't know if they're going to run him or not, but nonetheless, they're going to have to get him in a rhythm and make sure he is protected as well. So like I said, the play calling has to be a lot better. Kellen Moore recognizes that. I love, though, how he sticks with Saquon, how he continues to feed the rock to the dominant force. And he's going to have to do that again this weekend. Don't get out of character. Don't get away from what works. You have 2 samples from the other games against Washington. You have the playoffs. You know what works. Speaking of knowing what works, Vic Fangio, this guy knows every weekend. He says that the Eagles had planned to possibly play Trotter Jr. on defense in the Rams game, but Oren Burks was playing so well that they stuck with the veteran linebacker. Good choice. I thought Oren Burks held his own, played pretty well, had a nice deflection, couple big tackles. So shout out to Burks. And Vic Fangio did offer up his perspective on Darius Slay. He says he's like some fine Dago red wine. He gets better with age. I got to give it up to Darius Slay. I didn't think he was playing that well early in the season. Kept getting injured, but he is actually playing some of his best ball right now. And Vic Fangio talked about Jaden Daniels saying, quote, he's a young quarterback by birth certificate, not by game tape. And that's true. The way he processes information, the way he goes through his reads, some of the throws he was making against Detroit look, I'll be honest, Jaden Daniels right now might look like the best quarterback in the conference, but he's only one player. It takes a team. It takes a unit to go out there and win. And as good as he has been, as amazing as the story has been, it takes a team effort. So we'll talk about the preview later in the week, but I do think the Eagles hold the upper hand here. And Nick Sirianni talked about Jalen Carter, saying that what goes unnoticed sometimes is his high football IQ, his instincts. It takes him to another level. He just continues to get better. And I agree, Jalen Carter's an absolute game wrecker. I went back and I watched the second half of the other game. Man, he just makes play after play after play. He's only second year in the NFL. So Jalen Carter's going to have a huge assignment this week. And the Commanders guard Sam Cosmi's out. So now he's going to go up against a backup. Jalen Carter is going to feast this week. And he talked about Jake Elliott saying, quote, yes, I'm going to stick with him for sure. He's 6 for 6 in the playoffs on field goals in adverse conditions. I got a lot of faith, and I know he's clutch when we need him to be clutch. So I agree with that. Jake made some really tough kicks. He's got to nail down the extra points. Those could be the difference between losing and winning. But I agree, you have to stick with him. There's no better option right now. And to kind of wrap this up, Brandon Graham says we'll see when asked if he could be back for the Super Bowl. I don't think he will. The injury is pretty severe. But could you imagine if he came back and ran out there in the Super Bowl? I don't think he would play unless he's at 100%. He doesn't want to hurt the team. But man, that would be an awesome story. Imagine the way to go out if BG came back and got it done. But nonetheless, that's where we're at. Eagles Commanders. It's going to be a crazy matchup, crazy environment at the Linc. And my early thoughts going into this are the Eagles are the better team for a reason. And although the Commanders are hot right now, Eagles are going to have the formula to get it done. So give me your thoughts down below. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one. Also, real quick, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor of today's video. It is the great BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using our code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to parlays, live bets, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. So sign up today with the bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. Brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today. Please gamble responsibly.